11 in. Here we go. Let's go to land for start. Roger that. Houston, Columbia, roll program. OVLH. Roger, roll, Columbia. Over first stage.
A moment of unspeakable heartbreak that's gone viral. A soldier's widow grieving over her hero husband's flag-draped coffin.
Have gone. Lay me down in the cold cauldron, wherefore many men have gone.
3 days later. So yeah, if you were in swings this week, you got annihilated. I was in swings on Monday, Tuesday. I noticed on Tuesday that the shit just wasn't working. Everything was breaking down. Every big stock that had ran 300%, your IXHLs, your Gibbos, your WLGS, all your whatever, any stock that was in the small caps was pretty much annihilated. So if you were holding on to them, you got murdered. And that happens. That's why you have to learn to stay nimble. You have to be in mostly cash in times like that, because there will be opportunities to make trades. It's just going to be on drops and pops. If you're sitting in the stock, you're just going to slowly bleed. Here's the thing. This is my tip of the day. This is the week in review. This is what matters the most, is when you're in a stock, let's say at 4, and the stock goes down to 390, and you say, you know what, I'm done. It's not working for me right now. I got to get out before this loss gets bigger. You lose $500 or whatever is relative to your account. And you say, okay, that's fine. I've moved on. Now that thing blows up to $7. Those gains that you're thinking I could have made never existed, and they never will exist. You know what does exist? When you hold through 390 and it goes down to $3, and now you're down $7,000, and now you got to hope that the price goes back up. They nail you with an RS. It tanks another 50%. Now you get your shares split, tanks another 20%. Now you're in a hole. And you're going to find yourself trying to dig out of it by over trading, by rage trading. Then all of a sudden your account's blown up and you got to work the next 2 months just to get back to where you were. That's what cannot happen. That is real. Paper gains are not. That's my tip. That's really all I got to say. I know that people got murdered this week by hanging in a few swings, and that's the way it works. You're going to live and you're going to learn. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. If anybody tells you that they've never taken major losses, they have. I have. But I remember those major losses, and I try and keep it tight. If it's fit for me, if I'm losing more than $1,500, I'm not feeling that. Anything under $1,500, I can deal with, I can stomach. But if you take an 8K gain or loss from me, I'm going to think about that. I mean, that's tough. That's again tough for anybody. So keep the losses tight and keep the gains bigger. That's really all the market is. You're not going to hit every one, and be willing to cut it if it's not working. We're going to start with my top 3 picks. I'm going to start with 9, or I'll start with ATCH because that was the one that really made me some money this week. I was pretty much break even until Thursday, and then boom, I hit a fucking monster. 35K on the week because of this trade. And I don't care who you are, that's a lot of money. So look, this is the daily. It doesn't show after hours or pre-market, but you're obviously finding some support down here. I curled up and ran off of this spot. Basically 15 is your bottom. It's currently at 1560. Had a huge pop after hours. So now it's pulled back. I took a position at 17. I just want to make sure that it was still bullish, and it is in fact still bullish. There's a lot of people still talking about this. It's trying to come off bottom. If you look at the history of this is the 1 hour. Let's go with the daily. I mean, look, you had a pinch, you had a consolidation for a solid, I don't know, that looks like a month or two in this range. They had a liquidity dump. That's what I noticed. That usually after a liquidity dump, that's the final notes, whatever they need to get out of the way before they pump the stock. They're usually dumping that on a final, like this is the last of it. You get a liquidity dump, then boom, it bangs up to 30, pulls back down hard. But this gives us another opportunity. Clearly, it's trying to get out of this area. If it starts to break, if you look at the long-term MAs on this, you're basically sitting at like 20. Over that, you're pretty much clear skies to like the next one is at like 450. Now, there obviously stocks have done stuff like this. Look at your IXHL. It just went from 30 cents or 24 cents all the way to $1.80. So these things do happen. I do like this one. They've just started to release some news. They're starting to come out of a quiet period, it seems like. If they continue the news flow coming, then this is going to go. It's a very thin stock. It's got the eyes. It's got the interest. They have to just strike while the iron's hot. If the company does that and they have a plan to get the stock price up, I do not see how this cannot get to $1, at least. With a real good story coming in, you could be seeing $4. I'm serious. And I never say shit like this, but this is an opportunity. It could go down to 10. It could go down to 0. They could go bankrupt tomorrow. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that the potential is there for this to 5x. So take with that what you will. I've already made the trade and made enough in it that I'm willing to take another big gamble because my downside is limited now that I've taken a huge gain already in the stock. 9. Clearly, there's some there's some rumblings of, not only is Israel and Iran not over, in my opinion, but now Trump is starting to, rustle feathers over in Russia. And I do not think that Russia is going to act like Iran, AKA little bitches. I think that they're going to be, a little bit more hard-nosed. I'm not saying nuclear war is on our doorstep. I'm just saying that obviously, this is going to cause a stir in the market, whether it be, the sanctions really go through, Russia responds, maybe there is an escalation in war talks, whatever. That's what's going to send oil. It always does. Last time with Ukraine and Russia, once that war, I think it was last September, started to really escalate, that's when Nine and Indo and your Husas, your main oil names, did like 20x. So the idea is, to be honest, this is a very good spot to buy. Look, bounced off of here before. We're here again. 70 seems like the bottom of the channel. This was an oversell, but obviously 70 has been touched many times and it's bounced to $1. It's bounced to 90 cents. That's still 20%, 30, 40% respectively. So now with the war escalation, let's say we try 70 again. I'm in at 71. I feel very comfortable with that price. If it starts to break down, then fine. You know what? If it starts to break hard below 67, 66 and closing that low, then I might be out. But as we stand now, I do have faith in oil to get going again. I made a shit ton on Indo and Nine back when Iran and Israel were going. So, the gains are there to be made. You just have to get in before the crowd. If something happens this weekend, I'm already set and ready to go to Monday while it gaps up 30% and everybody's chasing my sells. So that's why you want to kind of try and time these. Usually it happens over the weekend. So I'm either going to just hold this long term. I only have 20K in it, 30,000 shares. So for me, I have no problem maybe just holding this unless it breaks down hard. But if it stays in the 70s, I'm good holding it until war breaks out. And that could be this week. But even if war doesn't break out, it should hold 70 is what I'm trying to say. At least 69, 68 at the lowest. What was my other one? Agri. Now, this is more of a quick trade. I'm not saying that this is going to be a long hold. It just came out of a reverse split, which usually causes runs. It already ran from the reverse split open. I think it was at like 4.50 or something, all the way to $9. It doubled. Boom, out of nowhere, it ghost spikes. So a lot of times, like, this stock will just run for no reason, like an SMX, or there's a few of them that will just like blow up at 1 a.m. for no reason at all. But this one is fresh off a split. It's got a lower float. It's obviously been beaten down a bit. 4 might be bottom. We're looking for a spike here. If it breaks down below 4 and holds below 4, then we might be looking at more of a trend like this before a pop, before you have a level off and then a pop. This could still be trending down. We watch in the morning. If it does break out to 6, 8, something like that, $7, I'm obviously going to sell it. I know that I'd be saying like, never fucking selling. Obviously, I'm lying. And at that point, I'm not selling that. Whenever I'm saying that, I'm not selling that price. But if it continues to go another 20%, yes, I'm going to start selling it. So look for a ghost spike in this. Break down a 4. Heavy volume to the bid, I might be out. It's the type of stock that gets a lot of volume. You can go in heavy and get out on a single bid. It's not like it's the bottom's going to drop out beneath me. I feel very confident in this. I'm in at 406. I'm hoping for $7, somewhere in that range. But remember, it's not like a long hold. I'm not like sitting in here until $8. Then we're going to go with some picks. Obviously, I kind of can't say I didn't tell you, but every stock was kind of broken down. Now, what I'm seeing from this is things tend to repeat themselves. So if you see, make sure we're recording here before I off myself. If you see that before, it's kind of hard to see this. Hold on. Okay. Whatever. So you have this big hammer candle that's still red. Then you had a couple days of dropping, then a pop, then a level off, and then it went crazy. I mean, it went from like 30 cents to 6, so it doubled. It doubled off that. So what I'm looking for right now is, I don't care what this stock is, I don't care, but look, you have this big hammer candle down. I'm looking for it to come back down to this wick, level off somewhere in that range, 15 to 18, somewhere there, and then boom, a bang back to 30. So if I see this between 15 and 18, that's my buy range, because I know that there's a strong chance that something's going to come out eventually. Bulls are going to hold that support line of the bottom of this wick where it got rejected before, somewhere in that range, and there's a very good chance that this bounce back up to the long time consolidation area of 30 cents. 32 cents. That's why when you get out of 31, like I did, you wait for the drop to settle, and then you bounce back up to 31. That's how you double your money. Not by hanging in at 31, averaging down to like 22, 24, and then getting that spike up to 30 and barely making your money back plus some. That's how it's done. Don't follow people because they're like, this is the next big thing. This is the next cure for cancer. They have a cure for cancer. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Until that information is released, it's speculation, and the stock's just going to continue to drop because the buyers have left and the dilution has started. Got it? Get it? Good. IXHL. Here's another example. Wow, it's at 38.55. Now, I had the stock like right here on the day. It was timed perfectly. I bought in at like 24.5 and I sold the next day at like 27 pre-market, like an asshole. Then it blew up all the way to 180. But here's the thing, I would have sold like 40 anyway, max. So it wouldn't have mattered. I would have never held to this point. I never do. Anybody that does, I'll tell you what happens. People bought in at 35, let's say 40. Okay, it goes all the way up to 180. Now they're reading the boards. Now they think they got the next big thing. Now they think they got the next Amazon. Now they think they're going on a boat trip with all the current investors to Vegas, and they're going skydiving with a big group. But none of the investors care. Trust me, the big money is never going on that trip. You might think it's going to happen, but it ain't happening. It never will. You'll never go on a trip with the group of investors that are currently in a stock. Because now what? Everybody's burning in hell with the devil and all of his demons. Nobody ain't going on no trip. Nobody ain't going on no trip. So here's the point. If you didn't sell anywhere in here on this spike, even if you waited for it to drop and get back up here, if you didn't notice that the shit was breaking down and you didn't sell, You got a lot to learn because this is going to happen with almost every single penny stock you ever buy. It's going to run and it's going to dump. It's a pump and dump. They all are. Sure, I don't care what they do. I don't care if they walked on the moon 2 days ago. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it doesn't matter. Stop focusing on that. Stocky go uppy, stocky go downy. It happens every time. The company, whether it releases a public offering, taking advantage of the spike in price, whether it just dilutes your bones to dust, whether it releases the news and it wasn't what the market was expecting, whether that was already baked in at the top or maybe halfway down at 38 cents, you don't know. All I know is that when it pumps up, you better take the gain. You better take the gain and walk away, because if you don't, you're going to end up going all the way back to break even, and you're going to be saying, why the hell didn't I sell at 40? Didn't I sell at 50? Didn't I sell at 60? Didn't I sell at 70? Instead, I waited for it all the way back down to 38. Now I got to hope it goes back up instead of selling up there and then say, hey, maybe it is another buy spot here. Let it go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. Sell the stock. If you get, this is a great analogy. If you have a pallet, if you're an Amazon seller and you get a pallet of stuff for $20,000 and somebody immediately hits you up on that delivery and says, I want it for $24,000, you sell it. You don't say, nah, I'm hanging. Within 15 minutes of you getting that pallet, somebody buys it for 24, you sell it. You don't think. You don't think, well, some guy could have came along and he could have bought it for 26. No. You just made $4,000 in a minute. You take it. If you want to re-enter the trade later, that's fine. I tend to not do that because whenever I double dip, it usually causes issues, unless it's a quick scalp. But now you rebuy it. Now it's probably at a good spot. In fact, I might buy it. It's a previous support. This was a previous resistance that it got above and blew up. Now what does that resistance become? Support, and you're right at it. Okay, you're looking for you're back to 65, back to 62. That ain't hard. It's at 38. I'm watching this. Now I'm watching this. Up here, I was like, that stock doesn't exist. And remember, I sold down here and I let it go. I didn't cry about it. I didn't chase it. Now I'll rebuy it. CDT was, somebody wanted me to, Reynolds, longtime subscriber, the man, the nicest of men. See, for me, obviously it could have a bounce in this, but not huge as of now. Your trend line is going to be like maybe back to $2. It's at 180. Maybe back to a little bit over $2. So there's a 10% in here, but I just, without news, they're just going to continue to drop this, in my opinion. You're going to get some pops, but until something changes this trend, which is a downtrend, until you start pushing on 250 with volume and news or something that's come out, some type of new development, they could continue to dilute their stock. It's a pharmaceutical, so most of them need money, and they're going to use you to get out with cash and to use for business, whatever they're trying to, whether they're doing new research, they're building a new facility. That's what dilution is. They take money out of the market and they put it into the business. You better hope that business, if you're a long holder in something like that, you better hope they're using their money wisely. Otherwise, you're going to turn out like Moan and just go into the core of the earth to live with the devil and all his demons. Raya. Congrats. Somebody mentioned it to me. They said, God, I hate these daily charts. Let's look at the 4 hour, or the 1 hour actually. Sometimes this does this. Now remember, on stocks like this, is this the 1 hour? Yeah. They better start doing this quickly after a big drop like that, because if you don't, it's just going to sit here and go like this. But this had the big drop on the offering, and then they closed the offering quick. So you had this, somebody called it at 550, buy at the end of the day. I should have, because I would have easily gotten 50% on that, but I didn't, and I let it go. It's fine. And I made some day trades on it, which worked, which was great. So you're getting this you're on an uptrend. Now you got to hold this trend. You got to hold this. You can't be like dumping down. You can't be going back to 650. you're going to be kind of in a tough spot there. So as long as it keeps this trend going north, I mean, you could be looking back at 16. It's currently at 8. It's not out of the picture. But if I had bought down here at 5-6 cents and I saw 8, I'm out and I'm gone. That's enough for me. That's 50%. So, or no. That's like 30%. Usually I look for 30%. If you show me 30% gains in my portfolio on any one stock, chances are that's enough for me. So Raya still is on an uptrend on the hourly. You could easily continue to 16. I would say that's the max. What else do we have here? QH. I'll do QH. So I had this and I did make some money on it. On this pop, I sold right there, which was nice. I was just in that mode, take the gain, take the gain, take the gain. And most of the time, that's what you want to do. So I took the gain. I tried to get back in, at 1160, at the bottom of here because it was still trending up. Then once I noticed it was trending down, once I saw the breakdown of the trend line, boom, I got out. And I got out at 1130. So I lost $700, whatever. I'd already made 2,000 on that stock that day. So it was fine. I got out and now it came back down and now it's waddling in the 10s. This is just, look, let's look at the daily. Oh, I see how that works now. Oh no, that's the 1 minute. I don't even use TradingView. I use Webull. No, I want the daily. Okay, so again, this is borderline. This is it's been too many days. Notice how it dropped. It's tried to go up, and then it's just not really doing it. Over 1450, if you start to see 15, it's getting bullish again. Right now, it's just in no man's land. So you can either slowly drift apart, or you get a pop over 1450, 15, and then money's going to start to come into it because it's going to show bullishness. If you get over that, you might be looking at a big run here. You might be looking at a double up, something like that. From 15, you might get to 30, to be honest. So QH is not out of the picture. I'm just saying I'm not going to buy it right now because it's gone past my 4 days, my limit of 4 days after a big drop like this, and it's not bullish yet. What was that? HCTI? Oh, did they reverse split? I guess so. Wait. Yeah, this just went through a reverse split, so I don't even know if it's updated on here. Oh, okay. So yeah, HCTI. Wow. It's just, say, you sell this, you don't wait. This is just weird. It's I don't know. Obviously you're probably at a bottom here. Yeah, this has been a long-term bottom for the stock, but this thing is an odd mover. This is the hourly, so it's just gaps nonstop. So, is this correct? This is the gappiest shit I've ever seen. Either way, I'm pretty sure from what I'm looking at, it just went through a reverse split. You are at, if the chart is correct on here, you're at a long-term low, so it's not like you're buying high here. This is an opportunity. If you know the stock, I don't know anything about this company. I don't know. I've never traded it. So for me, I wouldn't take a position in this because it would be a gamble. But if you know this stock very well, and this is the correct chart, you're clearly at a long-term bottom, and it might pop from here. It could double from here. It could fill this gap. It could fill that gap. Your highest gap is at 12, so you could double, you could triple from here potentially. I don't know much about that company or stock. All right, last one I'll do PCSA because I've heard of that one before. Where's this one at? Yeah, I figured it was in the 20s still. Okay, so again, we're looking at things that are at long-term bottoms, which is good. It tends to come off this area. Now, this is the 1 hour. Would you just stay in one day? This would be a swing from here because these are days. I mean, this takes a long time to spike. You're currently at 21. Look, this is what I would be looking for with this stock short term. Long term, you never know what's going to, it could spike tomorrow. But it tends to get denied at like 26, 25. And the buy-in is like 20 cents. So it goes 20% up and down, which is great. I mean, if you trade that channel and you just stick to that channel, buy near 20, sell near 25, buy near 20, sell near 25. Over the next couple months, you could get at least a couple 20% in there. So you might want to play $5,000 in it or whatever is relative to you. For, right now you get in at 21, you sell it at 25, you make $1,000. Then you take that $6,000, you get back in at 20, you get another $1,800, and then you try and just build that specifically, and then you get a break or periodically, and then if you get a strong break of 26, and you're starting to look at 30, then you might get a spike up to 70. You might get a double out of it. So not a bad buy here for PSSA or PCSA, but don't get don't fall in love with it. Okay, there's still more on here. I'll do these last two. TNFA, I might have missed my buy-in with this. Now here's the thing, it's I can easily admit that I may have been wrong. I thought that they were going to fill the gap. Maybe there was just too much buying pressure down there to stop it from going to that gap. And honestly, I'm probably going to miss this one. I will not buy this unless it fills that 8.5 gap. I will not. If it does not hit it, I will not chase the stock. But if you're currently holding it, you're in a good spot. Last time that it had this kind of release from a big drop, it boomed. It doubled. So you could be looking at 14 cents from here. You could be looking at a gap fill all the way up to 15.60 from 10. That's 50%. This has a very good opportunity to just go without me. Or if it comes back down to 8.5, I will load the living shit out of it. But good luck to anybody currently in it. If you're not, we're looking to buy 8.5. I am not chasing 10, only for it to go back down to that gap, and I want to off myself. NVNI or NVNI. I mean, okay, so amazing, huge spike, amazing consolidation over a long period of time, which is usually a good sign. Now it's really trying to get above this resistance. Seems like 77, like 80 cents, just call it, is really tough to get above right now. So it's getting there, it's getting rejected. It's getting there, it's getting rejected. Now, if it gets above 80 with strength, you could be looking at, you got a lot of air up there. Let's say it goes to the gap. The gap's at $2. Okay, so you break 80 with strength. This is going to be on my watch list. Very good mention. This is what I'm looking for. Whoever said this is exactly what you're looking for, because you set an alert at 80. If you look at the stock and it's breaking through 80, watch it. Broke through, came back down to 77. Buy at 77 and pray for that next break. If it breaks again with volume and holds above it, hold the shit. Hold the shit. Set your stop loss at 77 and ride it, because the next possible potential move will be to $2. And off 80, that's 100% plus. I would take it at 160, just to be sure. And that's it. So 9, ATCH and Agri short term, look for the ghost spike. 9, a little bit longer term, wait for war to start. And ATCH trying to come off bottom. If it gets above 20 and starts to hold above it, look out for 1. It's a very big possibility. You can always flip around a core. If, let's say, you have 100,000 shares, you can flip around, you take 50 and you try and flip that, sell it, buy back in. Always keep the 50 in case it does go to $1. Then you sell your core at that target. All right. Hopefully you learned something or you got some ideas for this week. I definitely did. So I appreciate all the my followers that commented. I'll try and do as many as I can next week as well. Let's get it this week. I want another 40K. I want another 40K. I will get that 40K. It could happen on Monday. Let's get it.